Hello everyone, welcome to YakShaver's Sprint Review 107. So we just wrapped up NDC and we had a fantastic week. So the last week our goal was to set up YakShaver 360 demo for the NDC. So we've got that done and we saw lots of people tried out YakShaver 360 at NDC, which is great. Let's move on to the internal hour. So we have Stephen, Tom work most of the time. Willow, myself, Tino are part-time. And let's move on to the Spring backlog. So we had a lot of PBIs done this week, and most of them are related to YakShaver 360 UI improvements. Majority of them are done by Josh. And of course, our main goal here was prepare, make sure YakShaver 360 was deployed and working properly for NDC. That's our main focus, and we try to keep the sprint quiet and make sure nothing major during that sprint because our main focus was on YakShaver 360. Any questions, Adam?
Is YakShaver 360 liked more by customers than the past versions like Teams and the MCP version?
It's difficult to gauge that. One of the things we'll get to in a minute is no one at NDC actually tried it out. So we gave demos to a bunch of people. A bunch of people scanned the QR code to go to the website, but no one who scanned the QR code actually tried it, despite the fact that it's easier than ever to actually do it. So we are still trying to figure out why that is. You would think that people would like it because it's convenient, but apparently not.
Maybe for the next conference, you need to give them a prize for doing YakShaver.
Yes, that could be the issue. We didn't really have any competition related to YakShaver. We just showed it to them and invited them to try it. We did have some ideas floating around for YakShaver related competitions, but none of them were particularly good. So we just shelved that idea. But yeah, we probably needed something like that to get them to use it. Carry on, Rick.
All right. Let's carry on. So our velocity in this sprint was 24. We allocated more than what we could, but because Josh was working hard towards improving the UI, so that's why we have so many points committed. And in terms of R&D, so Tino, actually I'll get who was assigned to this part?
Yes.
All right, Tino, here you go.
All right, cool. All right, so R&D, shared the Chinafy investigation and asked for a product decision after NDC before committing to implementation. And also for YakShaver 360 is now deployed on SSW managed Vercel environments. So we have production at 360.yakshaver.ai, and we have staging at 360-staging.yakshaver.ai. Okay. For our AI tool usage, for Rick, the tools that he's using is GitHub Copilot, GPT 5.4, Opus 4.6, and occasionally Opus 4.7 at the month end, and YakShaver Desktop and YakShaver 360. Now for Steven, he's using GitHub Copilot, GPT 5.4, and Opus 4.6, YakShaver Desktop, and YakShaver 360. For Tom, it is GitHub Copilot, GPT 5.3, Codex, Medium, and YakShaver Desktop, YakShaver 360. For Tino, it is he is using.
Where is
Yep.
Tom?
Tom is on leave
Where is
today.
Tom? Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
cool. Continuing, Tino is using Cloud Code Opus 4.7 Max and YakShaver Desktop and YakShaver 360. Now for Willow, she's using Opus.
Have you or Willow noticed anything different about 4.7 from 4.6?
Not entirely. I didn't notice anything big.
Anything at all?
Not much for me. No.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
takes a little bit more tokens, but not feel too much difference now.
Okay.
Okay. For Willow, she's also using Opus 4.7 with GitHub Copilot GPT 5.4. YakShop Desktop, YakShaver Desktop, and YakShaver 360. All right, Rick, back to you.
All right. Next, we will have Stephen to walk through the AI stats for.
Yeah, okay. So for the last sprint, we have the stats from Cloud Code, which is our Tiger project. So the done items was YakShaver 360 demo polish and NDC launch readiness. And 360 deployed to production with subdomain structure and Vercel Pro subscription. And fixed for Safari video can be replayed on the browser. The cell function timeout increased from 5 to 10 minutes with watching dog. Upload size limit and implement for API protection. Leaderboard project ID fix. Language bar fix and backlog cleanup. And for the Copilot status, this one was hallucinated by AI because we didn't even mention SSW Identity Server during the sprint review, but Copilot thinks the main issue completed last spring was the SSW Identity Server. So we crossed it over. And
Okay.
yeah, back to you, Rick.
All right. Okay, so I'll take over this part. So decision from prior meeting. So here's AI generated bullet points for what has changed. What have we decided for prior meeting? So we need to. So what we decided from prior meeting is we need to get the NDC deployment done, which is correct. And move on to the backlog changes from 107 review. So we've closed a few PBIs during the sprint review. So that's minor. And we've got the backlog stats here, 20 completed, and some of them are moved to next sprint already. So it's showing 0 in progress, but we do have some carryovers. So we will show that in the planning. And overall project snapshot, it's still showing the total items of 2000, and I don't think that's correct. I thought AI teams should fix this skill, make sure we are getting the correct total items.
Okay, so that's 4 weeks in a row, I think, if I've got that right.
Correct.
It's not about delegation to the AI team. It's about delegation and
follow up. Correct. Hopefully, Stephen, can you note this down? We need a backlog item to chase AI teams, making sure the skills return the correct total number of items.
What would be nice is I could see kind of the usage of the different versions. So a snapshot per version. So you could see whether one's going up and one's going down.
Sorry, Adam, what do you mean by different versions?
Oh, well, there's a
version of skills.
There's a Teams version, and there's a 360 version and an Electron version.
Right. Okay. Stephen, can you note that down? We need to distinguish the backlog stats by versioning. Desktop, Teams,
Yeah, I'm
and
going
360.
to note it down.
Thank you. All right. Next, Willow, are you able to walk us through the retrospective?
Yeah, sure. So for the retro, what went well? So I and Steven said YakShaver 360 was presented well at NDC and made demo ready in time for the conference. And Rick said the team completed a large number of PBIs during the sprint. And Kellen said despite the tight timeframe, getting the demo ready felt less rushed than previous conference pushes. And for the things that didn't go well, Steven said YakShaver 360 didn't get much attraction at NDC even though it was demoed frequently. And Callum said several attendees scanned the QR code, but nobody tried the product themselves. And for the things improvement for the next sprint, Callum said work towards swapping the Teams app and desktop app onto the micro VM pipeline and unified backend path. And Tino mentioned to keep simplifying the desktop experience so it feels as lightweight and direct as YakShaver 360. And that's all for the sprint retro.
Okay. Any questions, Adam, before we move on to the planning?
No, all good.
Oh, good.
I think I mentioned this before, but I prefer to see a tick and a red cross or a warning.
Okay.
I just see them as all yellow. They all look too close to each other.
All right. Now I'll make that change before I send this email.
No, more importantly, just ask the Tiger team to fix it.
Okay. Right. From the template. Sure. Thank you, Stephen. Then let's move on to the forecast. So next sprint, our focus is to set up the backend project for YakShaver 360. So the plan is to have a unified backend, so that will be used by all three versions. So that means 360 desktop and the Teams version, they will be calling the same API backend. So we have unified, consistent behavior across all three projects.
And then we'll release it internally?
Of course, we need to test it internally first before we release, but I'm seeing this will be rolled out progressively, but not all in once.
Okay, how long until we release it internally to SSW?
Good question. It will be several sprints.
Release it?
I mean that you say everybody, we've done enough on the Canary Excel, and we're just going to do a chewing the fat on it.
Well, the issue is, we've Canary tested the MCP desktop app, and that's probably ready to release. But the concern is that it's now sort of obsolete, at least partially, as it's heavily dependent on MCP, and it can't do a bunch of more cool stuff that you can do with the agent.
I think it's still a good idea to release it.
Probably.
Get feedback, and then
what you're
release the next
referring
one.
to releasing, if that's what you're referring to releasing, then we're probably just about ready to release that now, right? But the confusion was, are you referring to this new unified pipeline, or are you referring to the MCP app?
I think I would go for the MCP app. Get feedback. Like, you need to have a little short or 1 minute video similar to Yuli's one, where you quickly show the same thing.
Yep. Agreed. Well, that should be just about ready to go, right, guys?
But we will need to have very detailed video because desktop app is quite bulky for technical users, there are quite a few configurations they need to go through.
Yeah, but in terms of recording that video, we're just about ready to go.
Yes, yes.
We just need to
We're
record
ready.
it.
Yep, we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll get some valuable feedback. All right. So let's move on. So here's a list of PBIs. Some of them, a lot of them are carried over. And here's the new assigned scheduled PBIs. And there's a few insights for the product owner. So Spring 108 should be established the backend foundation and infrastructure needed to unify YakShaver 360 desktop and Teams integration. And the key risk is the board now carries 39 points against roughly 13 points of capacity, but most of them are in review, so hopefully they can be done quickly. And here's again total backlog items. I'll cross that out. So we have committed 39 points in this sprint. And here's the AI stats next step. So as we mentioned many times, we need to set up the backend infrastructure and create the .NET project for backend API and finalize channel file investigation by Tino and rest of them. The Claude is correct in this regard. And let's have a look at the Copilot stats. So Copilot said the next main item to do is set up YakShaver 360 backend infrastructure. So desktop Teams app can call a unified backend API, and that's correct as well. Any questions for the planning before we look at Tiger stats?
No, that's good.
That's good. All right. So we will have Cullen walk us through the Tiger stats.
Yep, I'll just steal the screen share off you, so it's easy for
Sure.
me.
Yep.
So we've already looked at most of this. A couple of hard truths down the bottom here. So we've got a overcommitment issue potentially, as we've committed to 35 points for this sprint after delivering only 39% of last sprint, and we have less capacity due to Chinese holidays. Willow isn't leaving yet. And then the other hard truth is we converted 0 of the 20 approximately NDC demos into actual users. And so I guess we obviously needed some sort of competition or some sort of reason for people to use it, because without that, no one really used it. Looking at the timeline, it was nice to see a good balance between everyone. Willow was talking a lot more than usual, which is awesome. Rick obviously doing a lot of talking as the Scrum Master. I don't think there's anything important there. In terms of scoring, Rick, when Callum raised 0 NDC adoption, you moved on too quickly. So maybe we should have talked about that a bit more, but I don't know what we can talk about because we don't really know what the solution is. Willow, maybe a knowledge transfer plan would be useful as we're losing it for 3 months coming up soon. But you did raise a good hypothesis as to why 360 wasn't used, which is that people may not want to sign into a random app with their GitHub credentials because it gives it access to their repos. Maybe that was an issue. Tino, be more direct with strategic questions. I'm not really sure what that is referring to. Maybe just needed to give you some sort of feedback because otherwise there was too many positives. And for me, well, I joined 35 minutes late, so that was probably it. Should be a negative. And yeah, obviously the fact that no one used it at NDC is an issue. that we need to think about why it is the case. And I think basically the rest of it is just sort of highlighting the same issues as that. So that's it for the Tiger dashboard. Carry on, Rick.
All right, nice. Any questions, Adam?
No, that's good.
That's good. All right, so this concludes our sprint summary. As usual, we will upload this video to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
Bye.
Bye.
You
Thank you.